This is your Metro Kia of Madison Sports Center.
Good afternoon, Madison. My name is Riley Yauk, and this is your Sports Center update, brought to you by the new ESPN Wisconsin app. Listen live and on demand to all your favorite ESPN Wisconsin shows at the touch of a fingertip. Your state, your teams, your ESPN. Download the all-new ESPN Wisconsin app in the Apple and Android app stores today. Wisconsin Badgers offensive lineman and Atlanta Falcons fifth-round pick Jack Nelson appeared on the huddle with Barry Alvarez last night. It's safe to say that for the Stoughton, Wisconsin native, being a Badger means quite a lot.
It means everything to me. You know, that football program, that city, the state. I mean, to be a legacy, to go there and meet all the guys and have my little brother there with me. Those are the best years of my life. I hold them very dear. You know, I want to bring my my toughness and my experience with the Wisconsin Badgers to the next level and really show that off.
Listen back on the ESPN Wisconsin app for the full interview and hear from Colts general manager Chris Ballard. Also in football, the Packers have officially signed linebacker and former first-round pick Isaiah Simmons to a one-year deal. And finally, the Bucs look to stave off elimination tonight out in Indiana. Pre-game coverage begins at 4:30 following this show.
Metro Kia of Madison, Madison's trusted Kia dealer. Stop into Metro Kia on the east side of Madison or metrokiaofmadison.com.
Everybody's ego takes a shot on this show.
You gotta keep your chill with Jim, Matt, and Molly.
I am savage.
So you're not special.
Jim, if we want to play this game, we can play this game.
And I'm just like, oh my God, this guy's going to swing on Jim. He's a complicated fellow.
People like me.
I don't think so.
This is Jim, Matt, and Molly on 100.5 ESPN, the ESPN Wisconsin app, and ESPN Madison on YouTube.
I've seen injuries deflate teams, but tonight, that one hurt.
I think everybody in the locker room know what the deal is. Got to go in Indiana, play some good basketball. Obviously, we don't have Dame. The next guy got to step up. We got to do what we got to do.
They have a chance. When you have the best player on the floor in Giannis, you're always going to have a chance. And if you get to shot making there, and if you're able to hold serve enough defensively, it is possible.
Look, if any team can come back from 3-1, it's this team. We're all believing that. This is definitely far from over.
Broadcasting live from the Everlight Solar Studio in downtown Madison with Pablo Iglesias, here's Jesse Nelson.
Is a very fast 30-minute show. Jim, Matt, and Molly, presented by Coors Light. Jim, Matt, and Molly took over Wilde and Tausch this morning from 9 to noon, so they get the afternoon free. But that's okay. We only have 30 minutes to share with you anyways this afternoon. I'm Jesse Nelson. He's Pablo Iglesias. We're in for Jim, Matt, and Molly this afternoon. Ryan Wollersheim even took the afternoon off, and Riley Yauk is in. That makes us all your Cousins subs of the day. Cousin subs we believe in better. Pablo, when the mountains are blue, you know what to do.
And that's crush a Coors Light.
Love when we get to do that. In for Jim, Matt, and Molly this afternoon.
Woo!
30-minute edition. Let's just set the stage for you here on ESPN Madison for the evening and for the afternoon. So the Bucs, the Death March, as Jim affectionately referred to it. Game 5, Bucs-Pacers, coming up at 5 o'clock. It's a 5 o'clock tip. If you're listening to us at work and you're like, oh, I got to get home and race home for that game, 6 o'clock. Wrong. 5 o'clock tip, NBA TV. That is what the Bucs and Pacers have been relegated to here in the NBA landscape. 5 o'clock, NBA TV, national TV. It is available locally on FanDuel Sports Wisconsin. Of course, you just want to listen to Dave Kane, Justin Garcia here on the Bucs Radio Network at 5 o'clock, which means pregame coverage starts at 4:30. After the conclusion of the Bucs game, we're going to join the Brewers-White Sox game in progress. Pablo, you're a big White Sox fan. How excited are you for Brewers-White Sox tonight?
Just about as excited as I am for this Bucs-Pacers game. Just simply, so yes, the White Sox and the Milwaukee Bucks.
By the way, the White Sox stink. We want to make sure everybody's fully aware of that.
7-21.
They are so bad.
I discovered that yesterday. I'm like, how are they already 7-21?
14 games under. We're not even out of April yet.
Yeah,
and somehow they're not the worst team in baseball either, which is even crazier.
Wait, who is the worst?
The Rockies have 4 wins on the year.
Hey, we beat the Rockies. We're good.
We're not last. Not last, baby. The road to not losing 120-something games begins now.
Let me just finish this little housekeeping for everybody. If you do want to listen to the Brewers White Sox game in its entirety, you can catch it from start to finish on our friends over at 1670 The Zone. We'll have that game in its entirety. Pre-game coverage starts at 6. We're going to join it in progress after the conclusion of the Bucks game here on 100.5 ESPN this evening. Bucks Pacers, Game 5. Pablo is not thrilled.
I'm not, because it's the sentiment that a lot of our shows earlier have had, is that, as Jim Rutledge said, it's the death march. As sad as there's something in my gut that just feels like that this is the end for Giannis, and I don't think that he's going to be requesting the trade. I feel like that it's more so of the Bucks that'll come around and be like, look, you already lose Dame. You definitely lose him for at least give or take a year with that Achilles.
He's probably out all next year.
He's probably out, and then he's going to be 35 in July. A 35-year-old coming off of a torn Achilles, that's not. There's no way you get that same explosive Dame. And I feel like that the Bucks just have to commit to a rebuild at this point. And as much as it hurts me, Giannis got his ring. He could have got a couple more. But I think this is just the end of the road, simply because Giannis is playing at too high of a level where the Bucks just can't build that legitimate roster. And in order to do him right, I think it's time to move on.
844-770-3776. That's the Carbless ESPN Wisconsin talk and text line. Less is more. 844-770-3776. Not going to lie, we're probably not going to take your call because we only have 30 minutes with you today. But if you want to text in, we would love to hear from you as we prepare for what some are considering a sacrifice tonight of the Milwaukee Bucks in Indianapolis against the Pacers. 8.5-point favorites the Pacers are, according to ESPN Bet, for tonight's contest. Pablo, it's not something in your gut that's telling you the Bucks are probably done. It's Mark Tauscher yesterday spending the entire 11 o'clock hour of Wilde and Tausch advocating for Giannis and Dame to be a package deal to the New Orleans Pelicans and for Dan Hurley to be brought in as the next head coach of the Bucks before they've even been eliminated from the playoffs. That's what's telling you that.
Well, that's where the sentiment comes from, is that it's very similar to the Packers-Eagles game. Even though the Packers were in the playoffs. No. I feel like that the sentiment was that there was just not a lot of faith. There was not a lot of faith going into this.
There was much more faith in the Packers going into the playoff game last year.
You think? No. I'm talking about this past season. Yeah, the Packers going into Philly.
They were the 7th seed 2 years in a row. It was doom and gloom because they had lost to the Bears and the Vikings down the stretch. But you still said, well, it's the same as last year. Jordan Love and the Packers, 7 seed. Let's see if they can go to Philly. They can play. Tausch said whoever wins this game is going to go to the Super Bowl. He was right on Wilde and Tausch.
Okay, you really went out on a limb there with the 2 seed.
Hey, he got it right. You got to give old T credit when it's due. There was a lot more faith in the Packers going to Philadelphia to play the Eagles in the playoffs than there was for the Bucks going into Game 5 against the Pacers tonight.
I just something felt different about that Packers-Eagles game and how people were going into it, feeling like that maybe they'll pull it out. Maybe there was. It's not like when they went into Dallas last year where it's like we could go in there and stomp their team, and they did. Whereas the other way around, where it was the Packers hoping that they could maybe pull off that upset against the Eagles, they maybe could do it, but there wasn't a lot of faith in this team where it's like, all right, they could do it. They even said it on Kyle Brust and Norman earlier, where hopefully it's like the series isn't over, but it's over. And then even if you advance, you got to play Cleveland. You got to play Cleveland without Damian Lillard. Let's take it a game at a time. If there's even anything else to take it, beyond this one game at a time.
The Cleveland Cavaliers, who in a 4-game sweep outscored their opponent by more than anyone else in NBA history against the Miami Heat. The NBA on TNT crew laughing at the Heat last night at halftime when they trailed by 40 points at the break. 844-770-3776. Jim, Matt, and Molly presented by Coors Light. Jesse Nelson, Pablo Iglesias in for the crew today because they filled in for Wilde and Tausch earlier today. You can find the podcast available on the ESPN Wisconsin app. Download it today. Subscribe to Jim, Matt, and Molly, Wilde and Tausch, Saturday Scramble with Pablo Iglesias and Alex Gravatt.
The Jump Around as well, too.
The Jump Around digital show. All those shows available on the new ESPN Wisconsin app. Your teams, your state, your ESPN. I want to play an audio clip for the audience here. This is Bucks head coach Doc Rivers. Doc Rivers at a press conference. Let's hear this audio from Doc talking about the state of the Milwaukee Bucks team.
We got to connect this. We know they all can play, but we got to figure out is the best way for them all to play together and all to be great in what they do. Well, I just think we have to find our identity. That's more the message. if you're going to have fear of the deer, you got to fear the deer. You know what I mean? Like, but our identity right now, and I asked them, like, who are we? And, you know when the team is connected and they got it, they'll give you the answer. We don't have an answer yet.
That is Bucks head coach Doc Rivers from January 27th, 2024. The day he was introduced as the head coach of the Milwaukee Bucks. Has anything changed?
No. Not at all.
That's not good. That's not good that it's been 16 months since that introductory press conference, and I intentionally threw to it because I thought many of you listening and watching right now on YouTube would have thought that was Sunday night or this afternoon in Indiana.
Yeah, I hadn't heard that clip before, and I was like, wow, why is he talking about trying to find the team's identity in the middle of the playoffs? That doesn't make sense.
But they still are.
But it could have been from yesterday or a couple days ago.
Ben Brust said last week one of the issues on Kyle Brust and Norman, weekdays 2 to 4 on ESPN Madison. Ben Brust was saying, this is a guy who played, obviously, college basketball at Wisconsin, was on the summer league team with the Bucks. Like, he knows his basketball when he's going to dial it in. He doesn't know a lot of anything else, but he knows his basketball. It's a shot at Ben. Fair. I haven't had this platform to do that very often. I'm kind of excited by that.
He takes enough shots at you.
He sure does.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Does. Ben said the Bucks are a team that's trying to figure things out at this stage that they should not be trying to figure out. And it's because of bad luck with injuries. It's because of the trade of Chris Middleton, figuring out how Kuzma and Gary Trent and everybody fits in the lineup. But they're figuring things out while Indiana's racing up and down the floor past them in games 2 and game 4. Like, Indiana's consistently up by double digits in this series, and the Bucks might get it close. They whittle it down to 3 or 4 points. They get it close in the second half, and then Indiana pulls away. I've watched enough of the games this series to know what's going to happen tonight, especially without Dame out there. When you have Giannis and Dame on the floor, you can win any game. I'm convinced of that. They are two of the best at what they do. When those two are on the floor together, the Bucks are never out of it. Without Dame, Giannis can only do so much. The Pacers are a much better team. The Pacers are going to give the Cavs a run for their money in the next series. This is going to be tough, to say the least, for the Bucks to try and come back tonight. 844-770-3776. Bucks trail the Pacers 3-1 in their Eastern Conference playoff series. Game 5 coming up at 5 o'clock. Pregame coverage starts at 4:30. Let's do this. Should we take a call? I said we weren't going to take calls.
I think we could.
Because we only had 30
not?
I value the opportunity to share our airtime in the brief sprint that we have this afternoon on the Carbless ESPN Wisconsin talk and text line. 844-770-3776. Big Joe in Stoughton. Don't let me down, buddy. What you got?
Hey, guys. Thanks for taking my call. I really appreciate it. I'm at work, but something I've been wanting to get off my chest all day with some of you local guys about the Milwaukee Bucks. I think it's time to just blow it up, you guys. I think it's time to fire Doc Rivers. I don't think he was ever the answer to begin with. I think John Horst, the GM, needs to go. He's made a lot of bonehead decisions, hence the Damian Lillard trade with Drew Holiday.
Well, I got bad news for you with John Horst, Joe. I got bad news for you from about 4 days ago.
Wait till you find out.
They just extended him.
Oh, great. So, in other words,
sorry I had to break that to you, Joe.
No, it's okay, Jesse and Pablo. Guys, I honestly think now, what do we do? It's going to be like watching the old Bucks that I grew up with because I graduated in 2005. So it's going to be like watching Herb Cole, and it's going to be 8th seed or bust, baby. We're going to get in that play-in round, and we're going to call it good enough, and we're going to lose, and that's going to be that.
Well, isn't that Joe, hang on, Joe. So you're saying blow it up, but then that might be the reality for Bucks fans for the next few years because, I mean, if you look at their draft pick situation and they're in trouble. They are in trouble for the next few years.
Draft picks.
Yeah, it's
we have no draft picks.
It's going to get ugly if this thing does get blown up and they're not able to get a bunch in return for Giannis.
You're only going to go to the Pfizer Forum to watch my Chicago Blackhawks play a preseason game every year, and maybe go see Blink-182 or see like the Foo Fighters or something like that. I mean, that's a nice venue. I love the Pfizer Forum, but here's the thing, guys. It's going to sit empty because who's going to be your star of the Bucks? If you really have to right now, I honestly think you should trade Giannis because there's talks. You could get the draft picks for him. And let's face it, I love the guy to death. I've been a Giannis fan from day one. I have a signed jersey of him. I've met him. He's a cool dude. In all honesty, guys, here's the thing. What are we going to do once he leaves? Because you're not going to have that star. I know that he's been saying, I'm loyal to Milwaukee. I'm loyal to Milwaukee. You're not going to win a championship in Milwaukee right now. I hate to break it to you, Giannis, but maybe you should go to L.A. or somewhere else.
Yeah, I mean, Joe, thanks for the call. I'm going to let you go because we do only have a few minutes to go here this afternoon. We hope you'll tune in for Bucks Pacers tonight, 5 o'clock tip, the Death March, as Jim Rutledge has referred to it, on Jim, Matt, and Molly, presented by Coors Light. So the one thing I would say in rebuttal to what Joe is saying, like the smart thing, the logical thing here is, okay, you think this thing is donezo with Dame being out for next year and the contract being what get what you can for Giannis and try and rebuild. But then I think you're going to be in that land that Joe just said, 8 seed, 9 seed, play-in tournament, party like it's 2008 for the Milwaukee Bucks. I've been there. It's not fun when they're playing LeBron and the Heat in the first round of the playoffs, getting swept in 4 every year. It feels like the same thing. So isn't the best thing to do to keep Giannis as long as he's willing to stay? Like, I wouldn't advocate for trading Giannis at that point then, like Tausch or like Big Joe, because Giannis still gives you a chance to be a 4 or a 5 seed. And if you can figure some pieces out around him, you got a chance.
But that's all you
got one of the best players in the world on your team.
But that's all you can be. The only time that they've made it out of that's
better than no man's land.
Would you rather keep getting knocked out of the first round? I would rather just be all or nothing. I would rather have whether it's a miracle run, and because I've seen my teams do this. I've seen them have the miracle run. Even as a Bulls fan, they're just playing to be a play-in team at this point. That's where I'm coming from.
That's where the Bucks would be without Giannis. With Giannis, 5 seed,
playoff or bust. You have to be the top teams, right? I don't see any miracle run outside of the Minnesota Timberwolves, which, even though they're a 6 seed, they're much better than a 6 seed right now. I think that's a vastly different situation, but more so in the Eastern Conference, unless you really want to compete with your Clevelands and your Bostons, maybe, and right now with your Indianas. If you're that 4-5. I'm not feeling too hot about your odds in the Eastern Conference, honestly. I'm not feeling too hot about your odds there.
All I'm saying is I think we're all jumping the gun way too quickly on get rid of Giannis, get what we can for him, let's try and build this thing back up. That's probably not going to work. There's not a great track record of success of that working.
Are we jumping the gun, or has this ticking time bomb finally gone off?
Riley, you had something to say.
Yeah. Does it matter if we hang on to Giannis? Does it matter if the Bucks get eliminated in the first round as a 5 seed or as a play-in team?
I would rather have a
result.
I would rather have a ticket to the dance and feel like you have a chance and make the regular season relevant and make it at least compelling for Bucks fans to know you have one of the best players in the world. You get to go see him in-house every single home game that we have. I would much rather have that with Giannis still on the floor, selling jerseys if I'm ownership, selling tickets, packing in the Deer District at least decently, as opposed to have a bunch of guys in Kuzma who are out there and earning maybe a 10 or a 9 seed in the play-in tournament. I would much rather have Giannis on the floor for another year or two, or as long as he wants to be in Milwaukee. I would not advocate as quickly as everyone else is to just get rid of Giannis and get what you can.
4 or 5 seed and just keep getting knocked out of the first round. You'd rather have that.
Compared to what the dreary dark days of the Bucks past was, or what your days as a Chicago Bulls fan are right now, hell yeah, I'm signing up for that. 844-770-3776. We'll continue the countdown to a thrilling Game 5, Bucks-Pacers, coming up in Indianapolis. Pre-game coverage starts at 4:30 with Justin Garcia on the Bucks Radio Network. The Death March, or is there still any hope? We'll talk about it. Check out a couple other angles on the game coming up, plus some Packers news on the defensive side of the ball today. We'll touch on that as well. That's straight ahead on Jim, Matt, and Molly, presented by Coors Light.
You're listening to Jim, Matt, and Molly.
Come on, Matt. You're the fantasy football guy.
Yeah.
I know, but we're pretty far removed from fantasy last year.
And honestly, you're into tight ends.
Oh.
I knew how that was going to sound before I said it, but I didn't mean it like.
Okay.
Presented by Coors Light on 100.5 ESPN, the ESPN Wisconsin app, and ESPN Madison on YouTube. You're listening to Jim, Matt, and Molly, presented by Coors Light. Also brought to you by J&K Security Solutions, securing homes and businesses in the Madison area since 1987.
The keys of a new Audi are in reach at Audi of Madison. Save $3,000 on a new 2025 Audi Q5, A3 sedan, A5 Sportback, or A6 sedan. National Credit is good towards the purchase, finance, or lease of a new Audi, but is only available until April 30th. Stop in and test drive today. Check out AudiMadison.com to see the current inventory and specials. Start your adventure at Audi Madison today, off the Beltline at Rimrock Road.
Ready to live the high life at home? Miller High Life is giving one lucky winner the ultimate backyard dive bar experience. It's a cabana complete with classic bar vibes, neon lights, and of course, plenty of high life. To enter, just order a Miller High Life at any participating dive bars in the Madison area and register with the link to the Miller High Life Backyard Dive Bar giveaway. Get a ticket to Dive Bar Glory at your local watering hole, like Sunset Harbor, Echo Tap and Grill, and the pub at Pleasant Springs.
Hi, Dave from Canopy Wealth Management here. Our balanced approach helps guide you through a complex and ever-changing landscape. Throughout your family's financial planning journey, we will serve as a partner, advocate, and steward in all aspects to help you achieve your goals with confidence. At Canopy, care, competence, and clarity, it's not just a tagline, it's a promise. Go to canopy-wealth.com to get started today. That's canopy-wealth.com.
Cheesy Bites Pizza is back at Pizza Hut. For only $13.99, you get a large pizza with 28 pullable, poppable, cheese-filled bites. Plus, it comes with Pizza Hut's very own Ranch Lovers Flight, featuring 3 bold dips: Ultimate Ranch, Chipotle Ranch, and Pepperoni Ranch. 1 large pizza, 3 dips, endless flavor. Ready to dip into deliciousness? Well, hurry. It's only available for a limited time. Head to a Pizza Hut location or order online at pizzahut.com today. Pizza Hut. No one out-pizzas the Hut.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place for changes big and small. Loud or quiet, find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay. Things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
The sports calendar is heating up, and with ESPN Bet Sportsbook, you can go from checking news to stats to placing bets in a couple of taps. Stream games, bet live, and get exclusive offers when you link your ESPN account. Right now, you can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet app and sign up with promo code USL to get started today. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
The 2015 Wisconsin men's hoops team gave us all a march to remember.
There will be no undefeated champion on Wisconsin with an unbelievable stretch drive to the championship game.
On June 26th, enjoy an intimate celebration with the stars of the run with Made 'em Believe. Presented by M3 Insurance. World-class expertise and individual attention. Tickets are on sale now at uwhoops2015.com. Made 'em Believe, June 26th at the Orpheum Theater in Madison.
Oh, can't show you in there.
Why not?
That's the bathroom. We need a new shower bad.
Think your shower is one of the ugliest in Wisconsin? Upload your photo by April 30th to goodkarmabrands.com/Wisconsin contest for a chance to win a free shower remodel. One lucky fan will win a free shower remodel from Kohler Services, including design consultation, demolition, and removal of your existing shower or bath, and installation of a brand new Kohler Luxstone shower. goodkarmabrands.com/Wisconsin contests.
Welcome back to Jim, Matt, and Molly, presented by Coors Light on 100.5 ESPN. Brought to you by Metro Kia Madison, Madison's trusted Kia dealership.
1, 2, 3, 4.
All right, I just want everyone to know how nice of a guy I am.
You did drive me to and from Peoria, Illinois, so that was very nice.
You're welcome. Jesse Nelson, Pablo Iglesias, in for Jim, Matt, and Molly, presented by Coors Light. When the mountains are blue, you know what to do.
And that's crush a Coors Light. There's a lot of power in that. I love that.
Riley Yauk is our producer. Jim, Matt, and Molly filled in for Willie and Tausch earlier today, along with producer Ryan Woldersheim, so they have the afternoon off, but it's only a 30-minute show. And we are so generous for the loyal fans of ESPN Madison that I'm willing to share our airtime for a 30-minute show with not one, but 2 callers. Because Riley says there's a caller on hold right now. Who is this?
We have Adam in Josh in Madison.
Josh in Madison, and instead of Pablo and I telling you about how the Bucks are 8.5-point dogs and Doc Rivers isn't the scapegoat that he should being made out to be,
shouldn't be.
We're gonna go to Josh in Madison. This might be one of the last things you hear before we join the Bucks Pacers Network pregame coming up at the bottom of the hour. Josh in Madison, You're on Jim, Matt, and Molly on the Carbless ESPN Wisconsin talking text line. What you got?
Hey, hello. Thanks for having me. I appreciate you guys.
Our pleasure, Josh. What do you want to share about this? This is the last thing our fans will hear before Bucks-Pacers Game 5 today.
Let it rip.
Well, I was just think about this idea and let it simmer. So next year or for the years moving forward in the NBA to make the playoffs a little more interesting. So if it was me versus you and me is ranked number 1 and you is ranked number 8. So the 8th seed and the 1st seed.
Oh, come on, so can't be number
8 has to play 1. I'm just saying. 8 has to play number 1. So the first 2 games of that playoff series, that 7-game series, are at number 1's house. But if the other team doesn't win one of those games and the home team wins both of those games, Game 3 should stay at their crib. You understand what I'm saying? So the other team who's ranked lower, who's the away team, has to earn a playoff game, a home playoff game, by winning on the road. So think about how in the future that could help or hurt rivalries and the statistic of like, man, this is the 8th year in a row that we made it to the playoffs, but we didn't win a home playoff game, so we never hosted a game.
Josh?
So, yes, sir.
I appreciate the creativity. I am one who appreciates creativity and original ideas. I like the idea of this. It's never going to happen.
What are your thoughts?
Do you not like the Milwaukee economy? Because that would have cost the Bucks a home playoff game, and they probably would have got swept by the Pacers by not playing at home in Game 3.
2, for sure.
Yeah. Josh?
Hey, that makes it more competitive.
We don't want it more competitive. We're down Damian Lillard down 3-1 in a series, 8.5-point dogs for the game coming up. We don't want it more competitive.
The Bucks are already losing money.
But I'm not just referring to just the Milwaukee Bucks. I'm saying to all NBA teams. Because if you look at the NFL, it's just one and done. There's no 7-game series in the NFL. So to make it a little more competitive and interesting in the NBA, let's make it so the away team has to earn that home play. That's the whole point of having a good season and getting the higher seed then.
Look, Josh, I'm all in favor, and thank you so much for the call. We do have to let you go because we're up against it here. I'm in favor of anything.
I appreciate you.
I'm in favor of anything that makes the regular season more meaningful in the NBA. So if this would help with that, I would agree. That would be an awesome thing. I am in favor of creativity and original ideas to help bolster especially the early rounds of the playoffs. That would be cool. Money talks in this case, and that's never going to happen.
I just stick with the regular format. It's like having their best team choose the opponent in the first round. The Peoria Rivermen, the hockey team, I remember a few years ago did that, and they got knocked out. But anyway, that's my take.
That's all we got. Bucks Pacers coming up next. Good luck, Bucks.
Yep.
Jim, Matt, Molly, presented by Coors Light.
Since J&K Security Solutions opened in 1987, our attention to detail and customer service have been our strongest assets. I'm President Jeffrey Beckman. We'll always do our best to find the most efficient and cost-effective solution to every job we tackle. Whether it's security for your home or business, installing video surveillance, or being able to control your garage doors from your phone, we can help you feel empowered with simple and user-friendly technology. Let's work together to